if the Nets get Beal, are they contenders? Do they make the finals?
Without question, to me, they're definitely contenders, and I definitely think they can make the finals in the Eastern Conference. You're listening to a Bradley Beal fan here. I mean, I'm not like some people I know. I got some friends, y'all, in Chocolate City, in D.C., or they will remain nameless because I don't want to incriminate them publicly, but they give no love and no respect to Bradley Beal compared to what he deserves.
You need to delete their
and they know who
numbers
I'm talking about. Something's wrong with them, one person in particular, but she will remain nameless. Here's the deal, okay? Bradley Beal averaged 30 last year. Bradley Beal was the only thing worth watching. Even though Bradley Beal is making $28 million in today's NBA market, as far as I'm concerned, he's underpaid. This dude is a big-time scorer. He's a big-time ball player. I love him. And you talk about, listen, I think he'd be a good number one. He's an elite number two. And he would be a spectacular number three, okay? Because he doesn't need to be ball dominant in order to score. And the thought of him and Kyrie together, Lord have mercy. You talk about box office, Jalen and Max. You talk about box office here. I'm just trying to, with Kyrie dancing the way that he can dance, with Bradley Beal stroking the way that he can stroke, with Kevin Durant doing what he's doing. I don't want to hear nothing about Milwaukee. I don't want to hear nothing about Philly. I don't want to hear, unless they get shooters, I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't believe it, not for 1 second in today's NBA culture. I think the Nets come out of the East. I think they'd be able to challenge for the title. I'm not saying they'd win it definitively because there's some teams in the West they'd have to contend with. But in the Eastern Conference, in today's NBA, where the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo can't bully ball the way he does in the regular season, I'm sorry. I would go with if the Nets got Bradley Beal, please. They'd be my favorites to come out of the East, I can tell you that. Because I believe that Kevin Durant.
Stephen A., ready for
Kevin
this?
Durant's going to come back healthy. Go ahead.
You know, I don't know that Kevin Durant's ever going to be 100%. I don't even know if he's going to be 80%. But they get Bradley Beal, Nets
80%, he's still out.
I don't know about next year. They're coming out of the East. Let me say something about all three players. Number one, I was going to say precisely that, Stephen A. If Bradley Beal is your number one, you ain't going to win a championship. But you can contend. If he's your number two, you can have a powerhouse. If Bradley Beal is your third best player, oh, look out. Because people get it twisted. A guy comes into the league a certain way, and sometimes people get fixed on that kind of player. Even though Beal came in when he was 19 years old, not a good defender. You could see he had offensive promise, but not an all-star yet, and built and built and built. He's a pretty good defender now, and an excellent offensive player. Not all all-stars are created equal, and while Beal is not an MVP caliber player, he's not just like a sometime all-star caliber player. He's a solid to high-end all-star caliber player as your number three. Now, Kyrie Irving. A lot of pressure on Kyrie, Stephen A. Lot. Because we've seen Beal with John Wall, who has, is anyone more talented than John Wall? Only thing he can't do that Kyrie can do is shoot, right? And they didn't do much. They didn't do as much as they were supposed to do. So now Kyrie has a direct comparison, but he has it plus because of KD's presence there. No matter what version of himself KD is, that brand name's going to be on the floor with them. A lot of pressure on Kyrie. Kyrie can't afford an underachieving team if Beal is there after having underachieved with everyone except LeBron James, where teams consistently get better when he leaves, with the exception of the Cavs. But the Celtics and the Nets and a lot of pressure on Kyrie. And finally, KD, guys. Even if KD's not 80%, you know who the closest similarity to KD is in the history of my watching the NBA is Tracy McGrady. Like a long, lanky, at his best, MVP caliber player. People forget how great McGrady was. At his peak, just about as good as anyone. And like MVP caliber. But his peak was cut short by nagging injuries and then the knee injury. He was never the same after the knee. But you know what? He was still, if you had, KD is better than McGrady ever was, as great as McGrady was. And even if you have KD coming down to the kind of player that McGrady had to fall down to after the knee, which is high-end rotation, if not maybe an all-star, with Beal and Kyrie, they're going to make it out of the East eventually.
A lot of great information by both of you gentlemen. Stephen A., you delete whoever number in your phone doesn't realize that Bradley Beal is that deal. And one thing that they would be able to achieve that no other team in the NBA has is 3 All-Stars that each made it when they didn't play with one another. So the Golden State Warriors have 3 All-Stars in the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green, but when they weren't there, Draymond Green wasn't an All-Star. Look at the Clippers, they have 2. Look at the Lakers, they have 2. Philadelphia, they have 2. The Bucks have 2. The Celtics have 2. Jaylen Brown was a fringe All-Star, could have been 3. They would have 3 legitimate All-Stars. And you know what you need to get used to hearing when KD comes back next season, everybody. We're not talking about this year. Tommy Shepard, by the way, the general manager of the Washington Wizards, Stephen A. and Max, he knows everything about Bradley Beal's game that you guys know. So I would assume that he would want to keep him on his team. I love Karis LeVert. I love Dinwiddie. I've seen Harris make shots. Allen played some quality minutes for the Nets up front. But I don't see you parlaying those pieces like they were indirectly able to parlay D'Angelo Russell that allowed them ultimately to land KD. I just don't see the Washington Wizards doing that. But if they were to do that,
neither do I.
I agree with both of you guys. They would be my favorite to win the East next season.
Well,
You think it's possible
let me
Kyrie
throw
is the
this in.
trading chip?
no.
I don't believe you do that deal as Kyrie being a trading chip, and you don't move Kyrie based on the dynamics of his relationship with KD. You allow those 2 guys to play it out next year. Ultimately, the
That's why he's
long-term
there.
anchor will be KD.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.